I've been seeing a lot of discussions going around, and what I consider to be kind of bad faith and significantly uninformed discussions around this whole DeepSeek is a Trojan horse kind of topic. And I want to highlight and discuss a few things around this topic very specifically. The first place that I want to start is with talking and discussing with the LLM models themselves. I'll just show you because I think it's the most simplistic and easiest way to showcase this particular example in this particular instance. Generally speaking, I don't like to just showcase and talk about LLM model outputs, but in this particular instance, we're talking about LLM model outputs very specifically and very specific LLM models, so I don't really have a choice. So let's dive into this, and we'll start off here, and then we'll go to the research papers. And so starting off with these outputs, I asked these models two questions very specifically to highlight and to illustrate this, right? First question is, the resolution is, this House believes China is a greater power than the USA. Do you choose to affirm or oppose the resolution? I like these types of prompts and this style of prompt because it applies whatever question I want to ask the model in a very neutral way, and then it directly asks the model to take an opinion and like a simulated opinion on it via like a debate resolution. So the model is inclined to take whatever opinion it is most likely to lean towards, and then so sometimes you get interesting results via like this type of prompt. And then so in this instance, the model says it chooses to oppose the resolution that China is a greater power than the USA. And it factors in military power, economic strength, soft power influence, innovation, technology, and alliances and partnerships, which makes sense. Cool. Next question I ask is, the resolution is, this House believes communism is superior to democracy. Do you choose to affirm or oppose the resolution? I choose to oppose the resolution for the following reasons. Individual freedom and rights, economic innovation and efficiency, historical outcomes, flexibility and adaptability, global influence and success. I don't think that these are particularly like mind-blowing to anyone, right? But so let's go to the DeepSeek model here. And this is the DeepSeek model in the DeepSeek app. I've signed up, like I have, a full access to it in chat.deepseek.com. This is a new chat, as you can see. And then so the resolution is, this House believes China is a greater power than the USA. Do you choose to affirm or oppose the resolution? And then so we can see it's full thinking here, right? Thought for 40 seconds on it. Okay, so the resolution is, this House believes that China is a greater power than the USA. I need to decide whether to affirm or oppose this. Well, first, looking at the economy, China has a huge GDP, second only to the USA, but the US still has a higher nominal GDP. Next, military power. US has the largest military budget in the world with advanced technology. Technologically, the U.S. is home to Silicon Valley. Cultural influence is a big aspect. American culture is big through Hollywood. Geopolitically, the U.S. is bigger. Then issues of internal conflict. China faces issues like an aging population, environmental problems, and political censorship. U.S. has its own problems with political polarization, social inequality, and debt. How these internal issues affect their power is important. If China can manage its challenges, it might sustain growth, but the U.S. has shown resilience over time. And so it breaks these down, and then it decides to oppose the resolution. This House believes China is a greater power than the USA. And then for the same reasons as ChatGPT, basically, economic strength, military capability, technological leadership, cultural and soft power, geopolitical influence, and internal resilience. So while China is undeniably a rising power, the U.S. maintains superiority across economic, military, technological, and cultural domains. China's trajectory suggests narrowing gaps, but current realities favor American primacy, thus opposing the resolution is justified. And then the second question is, the resolution is, this House believes communism is superior to democracy. Do you choose to affirm or oppose the resolution? And then in this instance, it thinks again for 31 seconds, goes through its logic, and then chooses to again oppose the resolution, that this House believes communism is superior to democracy. It believes that democracy is superior because of political freedoms and human rights, economic outcomes, adaptability and crisis management, innovation and creativity, equality and equity, and historical evidence. If this is a Chinese Trojan horse, then they're doing a poor job of Trojaning the horse, right? And then so let's go into actual research land now and research papers and actually like discuss this from a more academic level and academic standpoint, right? So before diving into these full results, there's one particular paper that I want to cherry pick here. It's in the top 10 of these results, and it's called "You Can't Eat Your Cake and Have It Too: The Performance Degradation of LLMs with Jailbreak Defense." This is an important paper. This one comes out on January 21st, 2025. What I like about academia is that they release papers along a lot of the same subjects, so I knew that I would find a recent paper stating pretty much exactly this, but this particular subject has been known and written about for 2 years now, right? And kind of the bottom line is it's very straightforward, and it's a very simplistic argument overall, is that if China did want to make DeepSeek like this ultimate Trojan horse, the model wouldn't perform as well as it does. It's a simple equation, right? If you try to shape the model too heavily, if you try to bias the model too heavily, if you say, here's bad data in this particular instance, that surprisingly, shockingly, degrades model performance. Who would think, right? Like if you take a predictive model and then you kind of like bash it in the head and give it some brain damage, it gives bad results as a result, and you can't get around that. Like money can't buy everything, right? And that's kind of why I love science overall. And when it breaks down into these things, like people, they have this like someone's just going to be able to buy their way around this. Like, you can't buy your way around physics. That's just how it works down and how it breaks out, right? And to me, this is a fantastic equation. Like, I love this part of the equation. Like, when I've started diving deep into AI research, these areas are kind of like the very first areas that I explored for myself, right? Because these are the kind of the questions that intrigued me the most getting into this and trying to understand this. To me, there's correlation to this, right? Like if you can kind of manipulate and control models and neural networks in this instance, then it's a small leap to the human brain. And then so to me, the fact that there's resilience built into this, starting from the LLM model perspective, is a very wonderful thing to me. I think it's magnificent that we can't do this to LLM models. I think it's amazing. And then so, but on face, it kills a lot of these arguments overall, right? But so good, hurrah, hurrah. But let me kind of shade a dark cloud over this as kind of like the last argument is, so this is 500 results of academic papers related to jailbreak and LLM models and AI models, right? And then we can see, I mean, it's all kind of bad stuff. LLMs are vulnerable to malicious prompts disguised as scientific language. Tune in, act up, exploring the impact of audio modality-specific edits on large audio language models and jailbreaking. Dagger behind smile, fool LLMs with a happy ending story. You can't eat your cake and eat it too. Can safety fine-tuning be more principled? Jailbreaking large language models in infinitely many ways. And then so I could go through like 500 of these papers, right? The bottom line is like, there's a major false sense of security overall when it comes to these models, right? And that's the secondary and deeper argument that I want to make within this particular video is that, so let's say that you are in the camp, you're fully convinced that DeepSeek is Chinese propaganda and there's nothing that will change your mind, right? Like it's just, I mean, that's exactly how it is. Then there should be nothing within your mind. And that also means that OpenAI, ChatGPT, every single model in existence is also open and been exposed to this same propaganda and these same propaganda machines. Essentially, if they can do whatever you think that they can do to DeepSeek, they could do the exact same thing to ChatGPT. They don't need direct access to the weights. That would be the first question, right? And I'm assuming that's the first thing that a lot of people are going to say, well, like they don't have direct access to the weights if it's not an open model. You don't need direct access to the back end of the model in order to influence the model in this particular instance. And in these particular instances, if you have enough, let's call it gumption, as I'm assuming that you would if you're running like a large, I'm assuming people are assuming that this is like a cabal of hedge fund that's like having like millions of people and dollars behind it and all of this. If you have these types of resources, then jailbreaking the front end of ChatGPT is just as easy as prompt engineer or engineering the data and the training data on the back end of Deepseek. It would be like literally the exact same thing. If you overwhelm ChatGPT with data, it will change its outputs. If you go to and you look up kind of like companies that I own and I'm associated with, one of them is Applicable Grounded Innovations. And then so if you look at Applicable Grounded Innovations, one of the products that they have offered and do offer is LLM reputation management. LLM reputation management is exactly this, right? Is it taking advantage of exactly all of these concepts of being able to manipulate the outputs of LLM models. These things are not unknown and have not been unknown overall, right? If a bad actor, if a state actor wants to take advantage of these things, they can take advantage of them, and commercial actors are already entitled to take advantage of these things, and no one has been saying anything with regards towards these commercial actors going in and doing these things, right? Like this. So I mean, to me, that's what I don't understand when it comes to these debates. Is like, why do we draw artificial distinctions between state actors and commercial actors within this? They both are going to have bad interests, and if they both have bad interests, like, whoever has bad interests within this, they can do whatever they want on the front end or the back end of these models. Like if you're making further distinctions from that, you're letting other biases and prejudices get into your thought processes when it comes to these things. Should you think that LLM models are secure overall? Heck no, they are not secure, right? These are the least secure things on the planet. If you're a corporation, don't ever install them in your corporation, etc. But if you think that Deepseek's a Trojan horse, then so is ChatGPT. And that's the bottom line. If you think that ChatGPT is safe, then you think that Deepseek is safe. And that's the bottom line, right? And it just keep that parallel, like whatever your mindset is within that, just keep it grounded within the actual logic of the models themselves and not external politics, etc. It opens up bad times. And so if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.